Food addiction is real, and you may know almost impossible to overcome. In my 10 years as a personal trainer, I've helped hundreds of people beat food addiction, and I think Jelly Roll's interviews give insights into what you can do to finally lose weight yourself. But without these tips from Mr. Roll himself, you may very well find yourself continuing to yo-yo as you probably have done your entire life. So in this video, we go over some of his interviews that he has given recently and analyze his secrets so you can copy what he's done. Let's go ahead and just dive right on in. So Jelly Roll has lost 100 pounds. Follow his formula and you can do the same. And I really think that there's some good insights here. So let's go ahead and listen in. Okay, so I think some important things that he went over there. He wants to feel good. He wants to feel normal. And I think that is a big key to your success. Listen, wanting to look good is a primary goal for most people, wanting to feel better in their own skin and feel more confident while out, whether that is with a partner or, just at a party or whatever. And that is a wonderful goal. I'm not saying that's a bad goal, but whenever it becomes something that you actually want to feel good for yourself, when you want to do this for yourself, that is a huge motivator and a huge step in the right direction to you doing this permanently. I know it sounds kind of cliche because, do it for yourself and intrinsic motivation. We've all heard that, but it is something that I think he has tapped into that is really, really going to help him. And it could definitely help you as well. I also like how he said he's not hiding it. He is wanting to hold accountability. He's wanting to be very public and open about it. He's not trying to do it, in secret. There's this thing where people tend to you hide away. I guess it's called, people are calling it right now, your winter arc, where you kind of go away. People don't see you for a while. And then you come out and you've changed, you've worked on yourself. And I get the sentiment is you kind of just go work on yourself. You go work hard. And I like that. That's cool. But without that accountability, who do you have to, if it, one day when you don't feel like it, you're just it's easy. No one's expecting anything from you. It's too easy just to give up. That's where a personal trainer really can come in. As I've said in some of my videos, I train my clients online. So, it's done through an app and it's really cool. If you have any interest in it, comment down below or whatever. But knowing that your trainer is literally going to be messaging you every single day. I do it Monday through Friday. And 3 of the days are reviewing your numbers and going over voice memos and stuff. Or I send you a voice memo or a video. And I expect to hear back from my client. So that's something that's really beneficial. But also it can just be like a friend. It could be a family member. It could be, a gym partner. That would be even better. If you have a spouse or a partner that is willing to go to the gym with you and hold you accountable. And sometimes it causes a little bit of tension, but tension isn't always bad. If someone is kind of cheating on their diet, it's not always bad. A little bit of shame isn't always a bad thing. If you are feeling a little bit ashamed and that pushes you to make better decisions, taking it too far and feeling, self-hatred and stuff, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about, hey, you know what? I am kind of embarrassed that I bought these cookies and ate the entire bag or whatever. And I've been there. Okay. So you're not alone. And I just really like how he's not hiding it. So let's go over to this video where he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I will try to make it bigger. There we go. Right about here. He couldn't even make it through that thought without getting emotional there. I just think that really points to how important this is. So if you are struggling with this, you're not just, this is not even on my board. There's not necessarily, I don't want to give you a complete cop out, but it's not you. It really isn't. This is something that, food addiction, and we're about to get into that. This is difficult and it's hard. And some people look at people who are overweight, especially massively overweight, and they say, well, they did that themselves, or making these decisions and they hurt themselves. It's something that's really hard. I mean, if we keep watching this video, he's literally crying. I don't even know what lean is. The last mountain for him was food. It's hard. Okay, so you're not alone. It is hard for others as well, for a lot of people, for the majority of the United States for sure. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. So he said it's all food, and I do want to make a point of like, that is a pretty good point. It is a whole lot of food in terms of, and I don't mean like literal volumes. I guess that's a bad choice of words. The majority of your progress will be in food. Exercise is probably the least important thing when it comes to like raw numbers of you moving the scale in the right direction. I think it's probably one of the most important things, probably number one, when it comes to feeling positive and staying on the grind. On days you don't feel like it, getting a workout done, there's just all this stuff that happens with you mentally is just so good. So I think it's very important, especially like, let's say Thanksgiving's coming up and you eat a bad Thanksgiving meal, going to the gym, at least you use those calories to build some muscle, so I think it's just so important, keeping your metabolism high and everything. It is so important. But in terms of like raw numbers, the majority of progress is going to be your food. And then he said here, I'm losing weight. It's inspiring me. I want to go do more stuff because I'm lighter. I feel better. I think he said that later in the clip and I didn't play it. Let's go see if I can't find it, but he says it somewhere in there. I'm losing weight. It's inspiring me. I want to go do more stuff because I'm lighter and I feel better. So something I wanted to point out about this quote that he said is that you will feel better along the way. And I want to encourage you that it is so cool to know that and to start experiencing it if you've never experienced it before. Let's say you have 100 pounds to lose or 300 pounds to lose. You're going to feel awesome at 25 pounds lost. I promise you. You might not look totally different, and you're going to be, sure, very far from your goal still, but you are going to feel so much better. The clothes are going to start fitting different. You're going to need new clothes, every like 50 to 100 pounds that you lose. And it's kind of expensive, but, so don't buy too many. But you start to feel better. You start to feel more confident about yourself, start to be able to do more things. I have clients that came to me that are like halfway to their main goal, and their main goal was to go to on vacations with their family and not slow their family down anymore. And then one of my clients recently, kind of like 2 months ago, came back and said, we went to Italy. I kept up with them the entire time. That's never happened before. I didn't have to rest extra. Sure, it was hard, but I didn't have to slow them down. I didn't have to, hey, you guys go on without me. And those things are felt throughout the journey, and it gets better and better and better. So I want to encourage you to feel this benefit way early on. So he said he's playing basketball 3 times per week, or 3 days per week, 3 times per week, whatever. I think it's important that you acknowledge that this has to be fun. So he's doing it mainly through basketball and boxing. We're going to go over that a little bit, and we're going to go over it in a little bit. He's going to do it mainly through basketball and boxing, walks, things like that. It's stuff he enjoys, weightlifting. If you hate the treadmill, please. I talk about the treadmill a lot in my videos. Don't do the treadmill if you hate it. Just because I do think it is the best, most consistent way of making sure that you're improving, it doesn't mean you can't get results in 1,000 other ways. Especially if you're playing sports, like if you love tennis, let yourself be big, run around the tennis court. Who cares? You're going to get faster and faster. And, I just thought of this. It would be really cool. It's another thing you're going to feel, not just the clothes and you're also going to feel, oh, I'm playing better at my sport, at this little hobby that I picked up. And I think that's really cool. And if you don't have anything that you really enjoy, find something. Maybe it'd be fun for you to, experience bowling. I don't know, just pick something and like, hey, now that I'm smaller, I can bowl better. I can, golf better. There you go. I mean, that's a good, whatever, something to get you moving. So I thought that was important as well. And then he said he defeated cocaine. The last mountain for me was food. And he also said lean. I didn't hear that. You guys, if you know what that is, let me know in the comments. I'm guessing maybe meth. I don't know. I probably sound like a fool. But anyways, he defeated cocaine. The last mountain for me was food. And he was getting emotional in that area. I said this a little bit earlier, but if he talked about cocaine like that, like he beat cocaine and now my last mountain is food, you would think like that means this is serious. That means this is hard. You know, if he could overcome cocaine, but he's struggling to overcome food, I just want to encourage you that, like, it's not you. You're not just completely broken. You're not, you know, why am I struggling with food? And, you know, other people can do this and this and this. No, food is probably the most difficult one. Not because it's more addicting. There's this storyline or whatever on, you'll see that sugar is more addicting than cocaine. That is not true. I don't see anyone huffing, you know, lines of sugar. That just doesn't happen. The reason it's harder to quit than cocaine, I imagine, I've never done cocaine, but the reason that it is harder to quit is because it's so readily available. It's not illegal. You know, there's no fear of getting caught. It doesn't ruin your life, at least not immediately. And so, yes, it's harder to quit in that it's just so accessible, you know, but it's not literally more addictive than cocaine. But because it's so readily accessible, it is very difficult. And I want to let you know, you're not alone. You know, he also has this, he described it as a mountain, his last mountain. Another thing I want to point out, he has a nutritionist. You probably don't have a nutritionist, but you don't need one. Yes, you have to put in a little bit more work, but you also have to think how busy he probably is. Like the time that he is spending doing his, I don't know, I don't get much into, you know, artists and stuff, but his tours and writing music or whatever he's doing, he probably has a busier job. Probably, I'm guessing. And he probably makes up, like, you have the time to meal prep. He might not have the time to meal prep. And I know it's like, oh, jelly roll, poor guy. But still, I want to encourage you that you probably do have the time to cook some food. But I also want to point out, he has a nutritionist. He has someone running his food. So you have to do a little bit of extra work. Watch my channel. I talk a whole lot about that. And I also have, this will probably be a good time to bring it up. I just released it. I'm emailing my list today. So if you're not on my email list, link in the description, get on my email list. Even if you don't want the fat loss challenge that I include down there, I'm going to be emailing out my cookbook completely free today. It has high protein, high volume recipes. They are good. I hate to pat myself on the back, but I'm getting better at this. I've been making recipes, and I'm big on recipes. I've been trying to, you know, come up with better ones and everything, and manipulate recipes I find for years. And I just really think it's coming together well. It's really helping people. The exact grams are on there. It's going to help you a ton. So that's a start. But I wanted to point out, he has a nutritionist. You don't. So there's a difference there. But you can still do this with enough effort to learning these things and learning, you know, what you need to do. So let's watch this next video here, starting at 10:12. This might be where I was trying to find that other clip. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I might need to play that again. We'll see. But I feel this good just losing 100 pounds. So what he's saying is he has a long way to go. He says he's talking different, he's walking different, and he said it in a much more way that I don't want to. Sex time is different. And I brought this up earlier, but your life changes throughout the process. You know, small things like being able to put your shoes on easier, you know, being able to reach the back of your sock and stuff. This stuff, it's fun while you're doing it. So even if you're years off, don't worry. You're going to have enjoyment almost right away. And then he says he wants accountability, and you can tell he's excited, but a little bit cautious, because he's like, You know what? I've never said it, but I'm going to say it here because I want people to hold me accountable. So to me, I've done this for a long time. You might not have picked up on this. I could be wrong, but I've done this for a long time. That tells me that in the back of his mind, he still thinks he can fail, and he's not wrong. At any point, any of us on a weight loss journey could, fall, but you don't fail unless you give up. So I can just tell he's tried so many times, and he's really worked to overcome this, that he doesn't have a whole lot of confidence. I mean, it seems like he's excited and he's like, this is the time. I was looking back like 7 years ago, he lost a bunch of weight as well. So he's probably he lost even more than he has now. So, there's a little bit of hesitancy from him, and you probably relate to that as well. That, is this time going to be different? And I promise, if you work on your habits, I'll just go over them real quick. I didn't intend on doing this, but if you work on your habits, see if I can type this out. Number 1 is going to be your workouts. I would lift, 2 to 3 times per week. Cardio and we're going to get into his amount of cardio, but 45 times per week, if you can. And then the diet side of things. This is high protein recipes. This is, can we scroll? There we go. High protein recipes. This is calorie tracking. I know it's kind of in the recipes thing, but protein tracking, making sure to get enough protein. And calorie tracking is like food logging and stuff. And then it's your steps, and that's just getting a lot of movement. I go more into that in other videos. And then the last piece is tracking your weight and adjusting based off of if it's flat, you increase steps slightly, decrease calories slightly, increase cardio slightly, and then you're good there. If it's going up, that is weird, and I would go to the doctor. Either you're way off on your tracking, or you're way off, on tracking. So I would analyze your tracking a little bit more. Let's see if we can make this wider. Nope, we can't really. Nope. So then there is going down. Gosh, I wish I could make this smaller. Oh, I can. There we go. Okay. If it's going down, then, good job. Keep it up. One mistake I see here is people will say something like, but I want it faster. And I understand you do. But if you're going down in weight, give it long enough, you reach your goal. There's no need to go faster, suffer more, and risk falling off. Especially around the holidays. If you're going faster and trying to go harder, that means you're in a bigger deficit. You're more suffering, whether you feel like it or not. Your body is in a state that it doesn't 100% like. And so that won't be helpful for you whenever you get around food around the holidays. So with those, adjusting, and then steps, diet, workouts. I forgot why I went on that tangent, but anyways, that is your steps to making this happen. Okay, so what is his diet like? He says, and I didn't play it in this clip. I also had to look up some things to kind of piece this together, but he eats twice a day. That's fine. Muscle protein synthesis can happen up to 5 times per day. So if you're working out, it helps to eat more often. The 6th time doesn't seem to do anything. I would eat at least 3 times per day, but if you love intermittent fasting, it just works for you, then do it. Eat twice a day, eat lunch and dinner, and cut yourself off after dinner. If that works for you, then do it. But if it doesn't, there's nothing special necessarily about it. He says he fasts once a week, and the intermittent fasting for autophagy. Now, autophagy is the replacing of proteins. And he says he does it so that he doesn't have flabby skin, but that's not how that works. So autophagy, yes, is the replacing of proteins in the skin, bad cells, and it's a cleaning process that your body does. And yes, when you're in a calorie deficit, autophagy goes way up. Whenever you're fasting, when you're in a calorie deficit, autophagy is happening. When you're fasting, it happens a lot. And you might think, well, right there, why would I not fast? Because when you're fasting, you're in a major calorie deficit, so it's happening a lot. But whenever you eat all of the calories that you would have eaten throughout the day, whenever you eat that in one meal or 2 meals, your autophagy goes way down for a while. It all levels out throughout the end of the day. I just wouldn't worry about it. if you are in a 700 calorie deficit, daily deficit, you're going to have just as much autophagy whether you spread that out or you put it all into a few meals, 2 meals. You're just going to have way more of it up until let's say 100 units of autophagy. I don't know how to really quantify it, but let's say 100 units of autophagy happens throughout the day. 90 of it's going to happen before you fast, and then 10 of it's going to happen whenever you break that fast, sometime later. Whereas 100 would happen throughout the day at different times. It's all going to break even. So I just wouldn't worry about that. He's not going to have tighter skin due to fasting. It's just not going to happen. He's going to end up having to have surgery if he succeeds, which is a good problem to have. No one who has lost a bunch of weight and has loose skin, I have never heard anyone say, I regret this, I want the weight back. No one has said that. It sucks. Surgery sometimes has to happen. The slower you go, the less likely that happens because the skin tightens up as it goes. I shouldn't say the less likely, the less it happens, but it's going to happen no matter what if you have significant weight to lose. He also eats high protein. He says it helps him feel full, which is spot on. And he wants to keep and build muscle, spot on. You don't want to lose all your muscle. He does have, Joe Rogan brought this up, he has a ton of muscle probably because he's been carrying around so much weight. If he can keep that, then he can keep a really high metabolism. He can feel great about his body at the end. He won't be skinny fat, and his metabolism will be good at the end. He eats air fried chicken and a banana bowl before shows and stuff. And all of these tend to be low fat. So that hence the air fried chicken. The point to me putting this down was that he eats things that are enjoyable. That's what my cookbook is all about. So again, get on the list. I'm about to email it out today. It's free. Totally. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's totally free. So it is, things that he enjoys. And that is important, that you got to find, if you want pizza, find a recipe. I'm going to add that soon. Find a recipe that tastes good and enjoy your pizza. If you want, what did I add today? Cheesy Mexican rice, I think I added, and then a creamy chicken bacon ranch pasta. If you like creamy chicken bacon ranch pasta, is it as good as something you're going to get at Cheesecake Factory? Probably not, but it's like a tenth of the calories, maybe not a tenth, but a third of the calories, maybe even less, a fifth of the calories with 80-85% of the taste. So anyways, that's what is important there. So his workout. So he does boxing, basketball, runs multiple miles per day, 4 to 6 days per week. The reason I wrote this down was he's doing a lot of activity. I mean, and I kind of said that down here. He's basically super active. He says he also walks. Now, I'm not sure how often that is, but he said it in one of his clips that he takes walks and stuff. And then he also does boxing, basketball, runs multiple miles. Maybe he walks some of those. Maybe that's what he was talking about. And he has spoken about weights and how strong he is in that clip that you guys saw. So if he's lifting weights, walking, being super active, doing boxing, basketball, running multiple miles a day, he's just doing a lot. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that much. I'm just pointing out a lot of people feel shocked whenever I tell them, hey, could we try to get 4 days of cardio? And 4 days of cardio is the minimum that I want you to build up to. You need 150 minutes per week, according to the American Heart Association. And that's just for general health. If you want to be able to eat more and have, it takes a lot. And I think it's okay. I want to tell you that because I want you to embrace it's okay that, yeah, this is hard. I need to work towards being okay with that and not shy away from it, because what happens is people don't want to hear that. And so then influencers and everything don't tell them that, and everyone feels cushy, but nothing actually happens. So I want to tell you, it takes a lot of work. Now, does it take 4 to 6 days? No, you could do 2 days of lifting and 2 days of cardio and find great success. You just have to get the calorie deficit mainly through the diet in that case. Whereas it sounds like he's getting it 50% through the diet and 50% through his movement, which really helps. So it does. It's a superpower to be able to get that. We're almost done here. So he also said that he listens to inspiring podcasts to motivate him. He says he listens to this multiple hour. I don't know what he's talking about. I bet it was with Joe Rogan, but I have no idea. He says he listens to the couple hour long podcast with Ethan Suplee. That's the actor that lost a bunch of weight, and he does look good. He looks awesome. And he says that's his dream physique, because it's not like Ethan just got super jacked or, he looks great, but since he lost so much weight, he's just aspiring to be I want to look like that. It looks really cool. It's not setting him up for something that's I want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, because that's probably not possible at this point. Maybe with enough surgery or whatever and enough scarring on the skin to tighten it all up. But, Ethan Suplee is his role model. So always be listening. Listen more of my videos, watch more of my videos. You can do this. And I hope I tend to come off as an encouraging YouTube channel. You can beat this. Surround yourself with the content of how to eat, how to lift, and the motivation to get there. Find this Ethan Suplee thing. I should have looked it up for you. Find this Ethan Suplee interview and listen to it. I bet it's awesome if Jelly Roll's inspired by it. And then Joe said this, and I think it came up in one of the videos. I think you guys heard this. If you keep going, it will become, no, actually you didn't hear this. If you keep going, it will become normal for you to not eat candy, normal for you to not crave. And I have personally experienced that a lot. And I hate to say that it's like a momentum thing, and I'm going to speak into that in just a second. But if you keep going, it does get easier. If you're like, my gosh, I struggle so hard. I just want this food. I want this thing or whatever. It gets so much easier. It really is like any other addiction. Someone who's quit cigarettes, they never want to smoke another cigarette again. They're like really anti-cigarette because they don't want to feel that. Now, my gosh, this is so much easier. Now, I haven't experienced that. But, alcoholics and stuff, I've heard them say like, right now, it's so much easier. But if I drop my guard and I take that one drink, then it's intense again. And I'm not saying you can never have another piece of candy. I don't think it's the same addiction like that where, bam, I have one piece of candy and I've lose control. You might feel like that now, but it gets so much easier. And I want to encourage you that if you keep going, it will be normal for you to not crave these things. Your normal will be different, new normal, like we learned with, in 2020, but applied to food and everything. So I want to encourage you that you can do this. You can beat this. Jelly Roll is doing it, and he was 520 or 530 pounds or whatever, because he says he lost over 100 pounds. You can do this. Even if you're starting where Jelly Roll was, patience, you got this. This is this process, and I love it. And the more that comes out about this, I might do another video if you guys seem to like it. So I hope this really helped you, and go ahead and go crush your goals.